Can we do it then?
Once you've wasted a moment, a year, a season, time on a situation or a relationship, you don't get an hour of that back. There is no refund, no turning back the hands of time, no do-overs. Time is non-negotiable. But what you can reclaim is your space during this phase of your life. And I'm going to tell you how. Hey, everybody, this is your girl, Coach G, your certified transformational coach with a master's in psychology and a PhD in life. And I'm here to guide you through the kind of transformation that starts in the mind first, where true change begins. Today, we're going to cover something I believe is so very necessary for women 50 plus to know. And I want you to understand how important this is to you. So let's get into it. So, what is reclaiming your space? Reclaiming your space isn't just about boundaries or decluttering your life. It's about releasing the emptiness you've been carrying inside the very fabric of your being and reclaiming who you were meant to be. There comes this moment in your life when you take a pause, but especially when you hit 50 plus, that you start reflecting and you come to realize that you have spent so much of your life making room for people who never checked back to see how you were doing, people who you were there for in their time of need, that has never once picked up the phone to say hello or thank you. Not that you necessarily did it for that reason, but it sure would have been nice to have heard your efforts be acknowledged. Maybe you're an empath and you gave emotional space to different types of relationships that zapped your energy. Maybe you gave mental and emotional space to other people's unloading their problems on you, and you couldn't shake it. And so you bore the weight of their problems. But it's something about when you hit 50 plus, something clicks inside your soul that says, that's it, I'm done. Now it's about me and living my best life. Psychology tells us that by midlife, the brain begins this natural process of reevaluating. It's called life review stage. And it's the mind's way of asking you what still matters, what is no longer important that you assigned so much weight to. What do you need to let go of so that you can exhale? This isn't deep. What it is you are finally coming into a moment of clarity. It's the moment that is calling you to this higher place of authenticity and balance in your life. This is that time that you tap into self control and resilience, and you start looking for that inner peace that brings you to that peaceful space of accepting what you can't change and focusing on how you respond to things. Essentially, what happens is you begin to live a virtuous life, a life that truly matters. You begin to understand that you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you allow to live inside of you. It's like being a stoic, right? You begin to believe that everything happens as it should, that your character is more important than your situation or your success. And you understand that your choices and actions are in your control and that every emotional struggle comes not from the events themselves, but instead from how you judge those events, how you perceive them. And instead of reacting impulsively, you work on responding calmly and thoughtfully. As a grown woman over 50, your newfound attitude should be like this: baby, I can't control what they do. I can't control what they say. I can't control how they act. In fact, I don't even care anymore because what I can control is what I will allow to take up residency in my spirit. Reclaiming your space means understanding that your life is not this waiting room for other people's chaos. It's not a storage unit. It's not a holding place for people who only show up when they need something. Your space, your emotional, your mental, your physical, and spiritual space is the most valuable real estate you could ever own. And after 50 plus, you learn that some properties are non negotiable. As a transformational coach, I talk to people all the time, but I have learned to listen, to be empathetic. If asked for advice, I give it. If they are a client, I try to guide them and help them find the answer that's already inside of them. But after that, that conversation is over and done. I don't take it home. I don't pack it in a suitcase. I don't put it in storage. I don't shove it under my bed. I let it go. And there are some of you listening right now who have spent years doing yourself a disservice by trying to hang with people and in spaces that you've outgrown. Not that you felt like you were better than them or that you were even trying to be better than that space, but you stopped growing and you start staying in places where you were miserable and you wanted to get out. I remember being in this situation once. I was in a ministry, and after several years, when I would go, I would feel just as empty when I left as before I went. And I would sit there Sunday after Sunday, Thursday night, Wednesday night, after Thursday, Wednesday. It just, I was so miserable. And after a while, I said to myself, you know what's happening? You're not growing. I wasn't being fed. And what I realized was I had outgrown that ministry. It's not that I was better than the ministry. It's not that I was better than anyone else or the pastor or anybody in the ministry. It's just that that pastor, that leader had taken me as far as they could take me spiritually, and I had to leave. And so my question to you is, what are you afraid of? What do you think you're going to miss out on? What are you afraid of losing? Ask yourself if you're being realistic in your thoughts. Ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I left or if I changed or if I move? What's the worst thing that could happen? You may be surprised at your answer. So often many of you, if you'd be honest, you have dumbed yourself down in many spaces because someone else was intimidated by you and you didn't want to rock the boat. You didn't want anybody upset. But you need to stop subtracting and burying your gifts in the sand. Stop carrying guilt for choosing you, because guilt is often what is the residual of old habits and old thought processes, and those are things that can be unlearned. I have been listening to a lot of lectures on neuroscience, which is the study of the brain and how it works. And in psychology, it teaches that the brain is plastic. And I don't mean plastic in the sense of material, I mean plastic in the sense of it can change and it can adapt and rewire itself at any age. So at 50 plus, you're not stuck with old patterns, or you don't have to be stuck with the old patterns that you learned in your 20s. You don't have to be bound by the roles you played even in your 30s. And you definitely don't have to be imprisoned by the mistakes you made in your 40s. At 50 plus, your brain is actually more capable of transformation because you finally have the wisdom to understand what needs to change. Reclaiming your space means reclaiming your mind. It means recognizing when your thoughts are lying to you, when they're repeating old fears, old habits, old wounds, old narratives that no longer match who you are. It means catching yourself when you start to doubt who you are and ask, who taught you that? Why are you still doing that? Why are you still saying those things to yourself? Why do you still believe that? It means giving yourself permission to rewrite the story, rewrite the narrative from a place of honesty, from a place of truth. For years, many of you were taught to be this strong person and to hold it together and to never let people see you sweat. But emotional suppression is self abandonment. That's not strength. And reclaiming your space means reclaiming your emotions. I heard someone say one time, your body keeps the score. And what that means is manifesting as tension in your body, in your shoulders, tightness in your chest, exhaustion that you can't explain. Most, if not all of that, is unprocessed emotions that you bottled inside of yourself, just asking to be acknowledged. Wisdom promotes healing, it promotes liberation. Reclaiming your space means reclaiming your body, your soul, your mind, your spirit. And I don't mean through diets or this anti aging nonsense, but through being present in the moment, not trying to live in the future, not trying to live in the past, but being present in the moment. By being in a constant state of gratitude and understanding that your body has carried you through every heartbreak, every disappointment, every loss, every joy, every miracle. It's time to start honoring you and your body. It's time that you stop negotiating with circumstances and with situations. Stop negotiating with people. You can't bargain with time. You can't beg time to slow down. You can't ask it to speed up, but you can decide how you spend what you have left. And after 50, you realize that your time is too precious to waste on things you have no control over. It's time to reclaim your peace. And while peace doesn't mean the absence of conflict, you do have the agency to walk away from what disturbs your spirit without explaining why you're walking away. It's you having the courage to say, this no longer serves me, even if your voice trembles when you say it, even if you're scared, even if it makes you sad, even if it makes you cry. It is the wisdom to know that protecting your peace is protecting your life. It's about reclaiming your joy, not the joy that depends on circumstances, but the joy that comes from deep inside of you, the joy that comes from knowing who you are, what you deserve, and what you will no longer tolerate. Joy is a form of resistance, a form of declaration. Joy is reclaiming everything that life tried to take from you. Your best years are still ahead of you, not because everything will be perfect, but because you've grown, you're wiser, you're clearer, you're stronger, and you're more intentional about your life. This is the new beginnings of a season where you stop letting your past dictate your present. This is the season where you reclaim your space, your wholeness, without guilt, without fear, without hesitation. Why? Because at 50 plus, you've earned it. Can we do it? Hey everybody, this is your girl Coach G. Thank you so much for joining me on this early Wednesday morning. If this episode has resonated with you, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. I believe that what you have to say is important, and I love reading what you have to say. Join me back here again next Wednesday, where we will be continuing our series, 50 plus Grown Women Conversation, and we'll be talking about where the healing begins. And until next time, get out there and conquer the world. And if not the world, conquer yourself.